Good morning, fourth grade. It's so wonderful to see you on this video this morning. Like I said, we're not meeting over Zoom this morning. Instead, we are going to have this video because Mrs. Pierce is in a meeting. So to start us off, like we always do, I'm going to say good morning to each of you fourth graders in our class. Good morning, Jaylee. Good morning, Owen. Good morning, James and William and Sophia. Good morning, Olive, Dylan, Taya. Good morning, Kira, Mason, Scotty. Good morning, Lucas and Liam. Good morning, Anna, Charlotte, and Liza. And good morning, Hank, Carter, and Nuchen. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday morning today. What I'm going to start off with is if we take a look at our Google Classroom, we have our ELA morning work. I'm going to pull up my tab. It's Wednesday, April 7th. Make sure to watch your your morning announcements after this slide. I'm going to go over our checklist and then do our ELA morning work. So my in-person friends, you got yourselves a packet yesterday with a green paper on top. Charlotte, your papers are digital format and will all be in Google Classroom for you. So today is Wednesday, April 7th. You're starting off by doing your morning work and watching this video. You have a vocabulary game, and I ask that you do 30 minutes of iReady. When 30 minutes is shown on my progress, you're going to take a screenshot and post it in Google Classroom. Then in math, you're going to watch a review video of lesson 8 and complete the homework page along with Simple Solutions 95. Make sure you're working on Zern 7 and 8 because those are due Friday. In ELA, you have ReadWorks, The Circus Comes to Town, and Similes and Metaphors. I'll show you what that paper looks like and talk about that in a moment. And then you also have week 14, Ohio and the Civil War. I will also talk about that paper. So from there, I'm going to pull up our ELA morning work. It is Wordy Wednesday, and I would like to point out what you're doing on this one. So on Wordy Wednesday, it says to compare and contrast, write 3 sentences, not 1, not 2, but 3 sentences to compare and contrast a frog and a turtle. There are some key words that you should consider using in your 3 sentences, that they are reptiles. Which one is a reptile, a frog or a turtle? If you said a turtle, you are correct. A frog is an amphibian. They have eggs. Who has eggs? And then who has a shell? Maybe you need to look up on the internet what some of this information leads to. Who has eggs? Who has a shell? Sculptor is to sculpture, as author is to fill in the blank. Orchard is to apples, as garden is to blank. Fill in the missing word. Now there's 2 answers on 2 that could work. However, one of them is better than the other. So make sure you do that. I'm going to get out of there. And then I'm going to pull up for us our first, the simile and metaphor page. Then the, Ohio and the Civil War. I had to think for a moment. So to show us what we have, remember we have this Wednesday work from home day checklist to make sure that we have everything. There is the morning meeting, which you are watching not via Zoom, but through this video, there's a vocabulary game, Simple Solutions, Lesson 99, Eureka, Lesson 8 homework, ReadWorks, The Circus Comes to Town, Ohio and the Civil War, Similes and Metaphors, iReady 30 minutes, and Zern 7 and 8. So from there, I'm going to show that this was your music letter. I'm going to move that out of the way. Similes and metaphors. I'm going to read the directions. Authors sometimes help readers imagine what one is thinking, what one thing is like by comparing it to something else. Comparisons can help readers picture what is being described by showing two things that are alike in some way. A simile makes a comparison using the word like or as. Look at these similes. The dog's paws are compared to dinner plates. His bark is compared to thunder. So Alicia's dog, Ollie, has paws as big as dinner plates. What does the simile mean? It means that Ollie the dog has very big paws. Then the second simile, his bark sounds like thunder. Ollie has a loud bark. Difference thing though is called a metaphor, where you're still comparing, but you are using this comparison without using the words like or as. In this metaphor, the dog's size is compared to a mountain. Ollie is a mountain of a dog, which means Ollie is a very large dog. What you are going to do in this is you're going to find the simile or metaphor in each sentence. You are going to underline the two things that are being compared. Then you are going to write the meaning of the simile or metaphor. So I'm going to do the first one with us. Ollie's mouth was a trap that held a giant stick. So what are the two things being compared? Mouth and trap. We are going to write the simile or metaphor, the meaning of it. It was a trap that held a giant stick. His mouth was. So his mouth is not physically a trap, but the stick was unable to be released, from his mouth because it's a trap. I'm going to write that this is a metaphor next to it, so I can tell you whether or not I know it's a simile or a metaphor. I would like you to write that and maybe even circle it next to each sentence. If you do that, if you have metaphor or simile next to each sentence, I will give you a Firebird vest. On the back, you have 5 questions. You are finding the correct meaning of the simile or metaphor. That is what this page is. Circus Comes to Town. You are reading through, answering all questions. The story is 2 pages long. And then you have some questions to answer from it. And then you have Ohio and the Civil War. You are filling in the blanks using your week 14, the Ohio militia, the war industry, and children of the war. Fill in the blanks using your newspaper, and then answer the questions at the bottom. And then you are doing page front and back of the lesson 8 homework, in addition to your Simple Solutions 99 and those online activities. Let me know if you have any questions.